Hi, guys. Good afternoon, and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host, Eddie, and in today's video, I will be discussing what I thought of the latest and very fun installment from our favorite ghost-busting franchise, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I actually watched this movie late Friday night, but I did not get home till super late, and I was absolutely exhausted and went straight to bed. And then I was busy all day yesterday. I've had a very full weekend, which is why I am now finally bringing you my delayed film review for this movie, which I'm very happy to talk about. Now, before I get into all of that, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review. So if you haven't seen Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and you plan to, you don't want to keep watching or listening to this video, as I will be discussing spoilers and plot details and all that stuff. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. First and foremost, very fun movie and very, very funny. I was blessed enough to watch it with a pretty decent sized crowd in a packed movie theater, and everybody seemed to laugh at the appropriate funny moments. I think a big standout for me is the guy who played the Fire Master, and of course, I'm not going to be able to remember his name, but he's a famous comedian and actor who's done a ton of movies over the past couple of years. More recently, he was in one of my least favorite Marvel films, Eternals, but he did a good job in that film, and he did a great job in this movie as the hilarious spiritual Fire Master, the guy who ends up inevitably helping the Ghostbusters and taking down the big bad in this movie. So he was a standout. I think his first name is Kunal or Kunali. Can't remember his last name, but he was a huge, hilarious highlight for me in this film. And everybody did a great job in this movie in their respective roles. It was so fun to see a proper team up between the old generation and the new generation, rather than saving it for the final act of the film like they did in Afterlife. We got to see them like working together cohesively from the beginning to the end of the movie. You know, collaborating, working together. Winston trying to keep them afloat through his philanthropy efforts, and Ray giving them scientific explanation and efforts on how to be Ghostbusters, and then Venkman just being there to sport the proton pack, and then of course giving the the hilarious test, and trying to piss off and provoke Kunali's character, the Fire Master, and then Janine answering the phone. Janine becoming a Ghostbuster in uniform was so great. I really enjoyed that. So overall, this was just a very fun movie, and it was super funny. Awesome looking ghosts and demonic looking entities and creatures overall. I liked how the big bad wasn't a revisited or a reused villain. It was a brand new villain we had never met before. I also liked how the story was a bit more original. As much as I enjoyed Afterlife, it kind of felt like a soft remake of the original Ghostbusters with Gozer and the Terror Dogs being the big bads once again. But in this case, we had a brand new villain, freezing New York City, trying to raise an army of ghosts. And then the ending of this movie left the door wide open for a third film, with the Ghostbusters now recognized again as the heroes and saviors of New York City, with a lot of work to do, with a lot of escaped ghosts out there waiting to get caught and captured again. I think the one thing that that surprised me was that when we first saw Phoebe go to the park to play chess, I thought she was going there to meet Egon's ghost. And I thought, oh, great, are we going to have Egon's ghost in this again? But nope, it was just another young woman who was close to her age when she died, and they end up playing chess together. But then, of course, the whole thing's a ploy, because that ghost is being manipulated by the big bad to, gain possession of Phoebe so he can use her spirit to open up that little orb thing, which released him from his prison and then raised all sorts of hell. But in the end, I did really enjoy this little tidbit about the movie. I loved how the Ghostbusters, both new and old alike, were fairly incapacitated for the third act, almost frozen to death with the exception of Phoebe. And the one who actually steps up and saves the day isn't even the Fire Master, but a ghost itself helps save the day. Slimer kind of did that too by eating the possessed pizza that the Possessor ghost was in and gobbled him all up, so now Possessor was gobbled up as well, so they didn't have to worry about that. Always a pleasure to see Slimer too, so that was a lot of fun. But I love the fact that a ghost helped turn the tide in the final battle against the big bad guy. And then, of course, once she did that, then that freed up the Ghostbusters to not only take down the big bad, but then the OGs as well were able to turn the giant ghost trap into a giant ghost trap and sucked the big bad down right into it. Even though a number of ghosts had escaped, they used it to trap him and whatnot. So overall, it was a very fun, very exciting movie, and it was very funny. It was, a well-paced film, very little to no slow moments, and I enjoyed it very much. I thought this was a fun Ghostbusters movie, and I will hopefully see it again. So I hope you guys all enjoyed it as much as I did. What did you think of this movie? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend if I don't see you. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is now playing in theaters. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody, and of course, until next time, who you gonna call?